Most people think they know Indonesia, but if you ask them what comes to mind, they usually say one word: Bali. And that already tells us something interesting. Because Bali feels like a country to many people. It has its own image, its own identity, its own place in the global imagination. So much so that people will proudly say, "I've been to Bali," without ever mentioning Indonesia at all. And maybe you've done the same. Bali is beautiful. That part is undeniable. The beaches, the temples, the sunsets that look unreal even on camera. But here's the thing most people never stop to think about. Bali is not a country. It's just one island, inside one of the largest countries on Earth, Indonesia. And what's strange is that Indonesia isn't some small, hidden nation. It isn't remote or insignificant. It's the fourth most populated country in the world. More than 270 million people, living across thousands of islands, cultures, and histories. Yet somehow all of that gets overshadowed by one place. This makes you wonder, how does a country this big become so invisible? Indonesia stretches wider than Europe. It sits right on the equator, connecting Asia and the Pacific. It has more than 17,000 islands, hundreds of languages, hundreds of ethnic groups, cities with millions of people, and villages where time seems to move differently. You might expect a country with this much diversity to feel divided. But something unexpected happens instead. Despite the differences, there's a strong sense of togetherness that runs through everyday life. People rely on each other. Communities are tightly woven. Strangers don't feel that strange. There's even a word for this mindset: gotong royong. The idea that life isn't meant to be carried alone, and this part rarely makes it into travel videos. If you walk through the streets of Jakarta, the villages of Java, or the small towns outside tourist areas, you notice something different. People stop to talk. They sit together without rushing. They laugh easily. Not because life is easy, but because it's shared. Now pause for a second. Ask yourself this. If Bali didn't exist, what would you think Indonesia looks like? Most people don't have an answer. And that's the point. Indonesia doesn't aggressively explain itself to the world. It doesn't simplify its identity into something easy to sell. It doesn't turn its complexity into a brand. And because of that, it often stays misunderstood. But this complexity is exactly what makes Indonesia what it is. Ancient traditions existing next to glass skyscrapers. Religion shaping daily routines, not just weekends. Nature and modern life constantly negotiating space with each other. Indonesia isn't meant to be consumed quickly. It reveals itself slowly. The longer you stay, the less certain you become, and the more interesting it gets. So yes, Bali is beautiful, and it deserves its fame. But Bali is not the full story. It's the beginning of it, because when people say they've been to Bali, they often think they've seen Indonesia. But Indonesia is bigger than a destination, bigger than an image, bigger than a vacation, and maybe the most surprising thing of all is that one of the largest countries in the world is still mostly unknown to the people who think they already know it.